nature, down here. So now we have an education system, okay, with teacher and students. You have a teacher, you have a PhD, like I know anything, ha. You know, like I'm going to tell anybody anything, but we have our institutions are modeled after this monotheistic model. So you have a teacher that supposedly knows everything. And if any of you have a PhD, you know that it's not, you know, you think you have a PhD and people think you know something, and that's bullshit. It's the people that are learners on their own. It's the people that learn from the slave girl, not from some academic specialist. They're the ones that know things. Everybody knows something. Everybody knows something. But instead, if you want knowledge, you think you need a degree? No, you don't. You don't. But this is the monotheistic model. You have to go to college, get a PhD. You got to go to the MD. No, you can heal yourself with preventive medicine. Same way, doctor and patients. You're just a slab of meat. Not so much now, but back in the 50s and the 60s particularly. You're a slab of meat, you go to the doctor, and he fixes you, and you go up, you know, and so there's this doctor that has all these degrees. Okay, all of this is that monotheistic paradigm. The guru. I need help. I go to my psychic. I become a client. I need prayer and meditation, so I go to the great guru, and I become part of the ashram. Okay, it's over. It's over with the ending of the age of Pisces. Okay, we need a new model. So, Sophia as anima mundi, soul of the world. Okay, this is the dyad in Neoplatonism, and particularly I come from a Neoplatonic tradition from Plotinus at Wisdom's Goldenrod, at my family's. At Wisdom's Goldenrod. You can access my work also at wisdomsgoldenrod.org, and my book, my 2 manuscripts are available at wisdomsgoldenrod.org. Links to that are also found on my website. You can pick up my website in the card. Because there's 25 years of material here. Too much to, anyway, I'll check the time. So this is it. Okay. Sophia as the anima mundi, soul of the world, being the dyad in Neoplatonism, arises with the creation of the world. It arises with the creation story, okay? It structures, manages, and organizes collective life. The monotheistic dyadic structure. But Sophia, okay, is not a part of the story of monotheism. Not because the men were bad, not because they're misogynists, not because they hated Sophia, not because it was because they were confused, you know. They could follow the rabbinical tradition because that's dogmatic, that's rules. You go to the Torah and you're not supposed to eat shellfish, you know, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. So Sophia doesn't fit there because she's the fabricative substance, the actual texture, the actual substance of the psyche that expels this image and makes it visible to a perceiving subject. So.
And she figured that out on the New Jersey Turnpike.
Yeah, I did. That's why I drove all this way to come to the talk, because when somebody asked me for something, he kept saying, where's Sophia, why Sophia? So I named the talk like, why Sophia and why Sophia now? Okay, so from monotheism, so once the story maker, as I said, or storyteller is revealed, once the people know it's a story, then their life, their social structures can't be glued together by it anymore, okay? So for monotheism to thrive and survive, the storyteller must remain hidden. Well, that's the punchline. Right.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
For okay, so once the story maker or the storyteller is revealed, and once people know it's a story, then their life and their relationships with each other, okay, and their relationship to meaning and to significance, to make something mean something when their children are sent off to war and come back butchered and slaughtered and in pieces, their life can't be glued together by it anymore if they know that it's a story. For monotheism to thrive and survive, the story must remain hidden. Now, if I have time, I want to give you 2 practical examples, if this was too abstract. Okay. Okay, so how do we, this is the end. What's that?
I'm trying to grasp exactly what you mean. Could your last point be summarized just by saying that it's perfectly fine to have any creation myth you want, as long as you remain conscious that it is a myth?
That's
and
the
And the trouble comes in
Yes.
when people confuse myth with fact. with
Exactly, exactly. Now, when Jonas was asking before, what is real philosophy? Real philosophy always goes beyond, and I've got papers on this. I've written many, many, many papers on this. Real philosophy goes into the alleys in the bedroom. This is from Ortega y Gasset. I've got a bunch of quotes, if we have time. It goes everywhere. It wants to know, well, who created that story? If there's some big male, he's got no mother, he's got no mate, what's he doing? Jerking off. What is yes, that's what he's doing. He finds little altar boys. What is he doing without a mate or a mother? What the heck is going on here? So anyway, I want to give you very quickly. Let me make sure I have time here. I do. I have time. I have 10 minutes, and then I'll have only a 45-minute talk. Okay, so I want to tell you how to get. Okay, this is the way the culture gets outside of the story. The culture, nature herself is intelligent. I'm coming from a Neoplatonic point of view here. There's such a thing called the faculty of understanding, which is a whole other talk, which I'd be glad to do sometime on the Queen of Sheba going to visit Solomon. We have a faculty of understanding. This is as natural an instinct within our body, mind, and spirit, within the psychosomatic organism, more powerful than sex, and our survival depends on it as a culture. One of the earliest meanings of wisdom was, if a fetus couldn't find its way out of the womb, it was considered unwise. We have to, as a culture, as a collective, we have to figure out how to survive, because it's all crumbling. The monotheistic culture, the monotheistic paradigm, the institutions that are modeled after it, they're all crumbling down. Now, how does nature do this, like instinctually, primitively, in an unconscious way? It does it through war, okay? Now, what war is, there's a wonderful guy, Ken Jones, who wrote a book called, I don't know if it's published yet, it's called The Collapse of the Cultural Immortality System. And this was a story told to me by a grunt in Vietnam, okay, many, many years later. After, when he was trying to figure all this out, about 10 years ago I met him. And what happens is the grunt, I'll do a condensed version. The grunt goes off to war. The generals, the old man, those of you who know Freud, the old men send the young men off to die. Blood sacrifice, right? So they go, he goes off to war. Now in Vietnam, there's an expression called "it don't mean nothing." And they've done studies that show that after around 6 months in country in Vietnam, when a soldier, when a grunt, the guys on the bottom, began to incorporate that phrase, "it don't mean nothing," into their daily speech, their survival rate went sky high. It went, they almost were guaranteed that they'd get out of Vietnam alive. But it was accompanied by what they call in psychology the collapse of the cultural immortality system. The cultural immortality system is all of the lies foisted on you by this monotheistic paradigm, by the lies of the culture, that, oh, you're going to war to save, to protect us from the enemy, from the communist, or from the, Iraq, from the terrorists. You're going off to war because we're threatened, or you're going off to war, whatever reasons they give. And note that 3 years later, they're all our friends, whether it's the Vietnamese or the Germans or the what, So this is an incredible story. It's an incredible story, because the Vietnam vets that went off, they've done studies to show that dreams of a woman, of a female entity came into them, into their dreams, and this is all chronicled if you Google this, that prompted them to go to war. Now, war is an initiation, but our culture doesn't know it. So what happened to these grunts when this "it don't mean nothing" came into the vocabulary was the loss of all that, and they realized that they had been sent to war to die and to watch their friends blown up for nothing. For nothing.